Hi guys, what's up? We're back again today with a video. It's been a long time since we've made a video. Sorry, I've been busy with life, like I like to say. So first things first, I want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Hope you guys had a good holiday. Hopefully it was celebrated for all the right reasons. We're not here to debate which is which. Another thing is, thank you so much. Our subscribers literally went from 150 subscribers to like 602 subscribers. So you guys are either bored at home, stuck at home in quarantine, or you like our content, either or. But thanks anyway. Thanks for all the comments. We have the odd troll. Whatever. We have to let them be. But anyway, so today we are having a special video. Today we're going to interview one of our friends that I've met in church. So I'm very, very grateful and thankful for her time. Without further ado, so we're going to introduce her. We're going to introduce her as Miss Blossom. So yeah, let's say hi. Come on into the camera.
Hi.
Hi. So this is Miss Blossom, and what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be conducting an interview. So if at any point I ask you a question that you're uncomfortable with, or it's racially profiling, or whatever it may be, uncomfortable at all, just let me know that you would rather not talk about this. So
Okay.
perfect.
Fair enough.
So first things first, we're gonna ask, where are you from initially? What brought you here to Canada?
I'm from Jamaica. And what brought me to Canada? Of course, a better life. Better life.
Yes, yes. So, and do you remember the year that you came to Canada here?
Wow. I came to Canada in the year about 1989 was my first time coming.
Wow, that was when I was.
1989.
I think I was 2 or 3 at that time.
Were you born yet? No.
I was born in 87.
Yes.
So thanks for making me put that out there now.
89.
I wasn't going to do that.
Am I right? 89?
That was the year of the Olympics, if I'm correct.
88 was.
Or
no.
88.
No.
87, 88 was the Olympics.
1988 Olympics. So I
88.
came here.
That's right.
In the 79, 80.
Wow.
About 82.
Oh, wow.
82.
So you've been here longer in this country than I've been alive.
There you go.
Wow.
I knew that.
Isn't-
I knew that.
Isn't that something, right? Because you have children as old and older as me, older than me.
definitely, yes.
Yes. So wow, what a great accomplishment for you and your family. So
Yeah.
a couple things I want to ask you is we're obviously all our subscribers know we're from Calgary, Alberta, Cowtown, so to speak. How was Calgary then?
Well, for sure, there was not a lot of black people here. So it was different then. When you walk in, when you get on the bus, as a black person, people would just really look at you. Some people even ask, "Can I touch you?" There was some people that was quite nice. Children would stare at you like they have never seen, which, of course, that time it wasn't that. We weren't that popular. There wasn't a lot of black people here in Calgary, more so. So it was different, but...
Wow, how the tables have turned now, eh?
Mm-hmm.
With, I think, according to Google, I did a little bit of research before we did this interview. However, just before we get into this more, I want you guys to all know that I have known Miss Blossom now for about 7 years, and we stay. Let's just say she keeps me on the straight and narrow sometimes. She's a friend from church, so she's definitely is helpful with me and, with me and my my spirituality and my righteous path. So I want to thank her and all the people that are involved in that. But anyway, so getting back to you moving here to Canada, it's always so interesting because again, we spoke a little bit about racial slurs and racial comments and stuff. I have never really experienced racism because I grew up in, a fairly white community. And so I never knew nothing about racism until I started dating black women. And then I said, oh, wow. I would go into malls and stores and I would hear, not always white people, I would hear people, let's just say that, make racial slurs. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know this existed. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but nevertheless, with that being said, we thought we would talk about this a little bit due to all the stuff that is going on with people being, racially profiled. Let's hope that all stops. Again, here at Modern Talk and Adventures, if somebody does make racial comments, that will definitely get you a block on here, because as you can see, my family exists of more than just Caucasian. And again, I'm not racist in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure Miss Blossom can vouch for that. But
yes, definitely, yes.
Anyway, so when you first got here to Canada, can you tell us a little bit about your first week, how things went and how it was? Was it a culture shock? I guess kind of your whole perspective on your first week, and I'm going to hand it over to you now if you want to go ahead and tell the viewers.
All right. So my first week, it was really interesting because I was so cold. Cold was one of my biggest issue at that point. And my sister who brought me here, they were here long before. So it was sort of different for me, getting used to the food, getting used to the climate.
Your first week here, if you can remember, I know it's been a long time, do you remember your first week here, did you go job hunting, or did you do just basically get climatized?
Yeah. It was a homebound time. My first week was basically staying home and, just...
What season did you come here? Was it...
It was actually in July, around Stampede time, but I was cold.
You were cold at Stampede time?
I was cold.
My. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Stampede time. So you seen a little bit about the city and their culture. Obviously the biggest show on earth.
Yes, the Stampede. We did go to the Stampede, and that was my first time having hamburgers. Oh God.
What did you think of that first bite when you bit into it? You're like,
it was so good. And the corn dogs. Oh, it was. I did enjoy it, I should say.
Nice.
I was missing home though, because it was cold. I'm not used to the cold, and a little bit. You didn't see too many of my own black
colleagues or Jamaicans
and people would talk to you, but not so much, So it was
interesting.
So
when you first came here, when you came to Canada, you were single, if I can remember, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and then obviously we're not going to mention names here, but then how long before you met your husband?
About 3 years later. About 3 years later.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so obviously you came here, you had all your paperwork and you got your work visa and stuff, and
yes, working out. That after I came, we got all those worked out. Mm-hmm. So it took me a little while to get
papers.
Get papers, but thank goodness I did.
Yeah, thank God. So it was probably a little bit easier back then to get paperwork than it is now.
It was more, it was much easier. Yeah, it was.
And then, do you remember your first job, if you don't mind sharing with the
Oh, yeah.
with the fans?
Yes. My first job, I work in the nursing home. And I'm telling you, my first day at work without any training, because that time you could hire without even having the experience, because they needed people to work then. So my first job, I work as a nursing attendant, and in the nursing home, and they just train you on the spot.
Okay.
And one thing I surely can remember, my first day when you have to lift someone. When I lift, I felt like cold sweat was pouring down. And I'm thinking, should I go back to work the next day? But I knew I needed a job, so I had to.
Nice.
So I went back and I worked, and oh my goodness, good old Cedar Villa. I should say that.
Nice.
And I worked for about 10 years there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow,
yeah,
that's
yeah, I did.
that's
And
impressive.
you know, as you work, the week goes by, it gets better, and after a while, it was like nothing to me, lifting up and doing all the works, and you know, it was nothing. And we had great team that we were working with then. So it was, and I did enjoy it. I should say I did. And after because of, it was in the 80s when we had the recession, right? And Calgary people were walking out of their house for $1. You could pay $1 and walk into the biggest house, because people couldn't afford to pay their mortgages and rent. So anyways, my husband was out of work at that time, and then that's when we moved to Ontario for a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you guys moved to Ontario and worked there, and I remember talking to your husband a year back or so. We were talking about that. So guys moved there for a bit and did a bit of a reset. Obviously, the economy was a bit better in Ontario than it was here, and then you guys set your hearts on moving back here.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, what do you do now?
I just retired.
Yeah, she just
After
retired.
working 29 years, I'm now retired.
Look at that, guys. Here's a lady that comes from a different country. That I mean, and I do know some of the background stories. However, I have to ask the questions for our viewers. And honestly, when I pitched this idea to her, I know she wasn't 100% comfortable with it, but I told her that this video, and I know, and I trust my viewers, that this video will get the most views of any video that I myself have posted because of the interesting story. It's absolutely incredible. I've heard it sometimes 3-4 times, and I'll still ask questions because it's so interesting. If you if you want to have a success story from people coming from basically nothing, we shouldn't say nothing, but it was a little bit hard coming here
most definitely.
to I mean, again, I know their background, the success they've had, and the success they are in at this point. It's absolutely, if you have any idea of what it takes to do that, and trust me, I don't know everything. But I have been through a bit of a hard times with businesses and stuff. It's just absolutely incredible how you guys pulled it off. I mean, yeah. So you guys moved back here. Do you mind telling the viewers where you worked the last 20 years, or is it not something you want to share?
That's fine. I can say. Yeah, I work in Alberta Health for 29 years. 29 years, yeah. And I just retired. And I should say I did have a good job. I love my job, and everything sort of come into play. Marky, it wasn't all that easy. It wasn't easy because in the recession time, my husband was out of jobs. And good thing about nursing, I I was always working, always have a job. So when he's not, I was there to back him up. And as a welder, sometimes he would be out of get laid off too. But we plan together and we work together.
So
And
go ahead, sorry.
that's what gets me where I am today.
Yes. So guys, I hope this video inspires people that, again, people that have, and I've heard this at my work where people will say, oh, these people from other countries come here, they get free taxes, they don't have to pay taxes, they get free room and board, they get this, they get that. So guys, here you go, okay? Here, and again, I'm not against the Canadians. I'm not against, it doesn't matter the color. I'm not against anybody. I am very open. So, but here you go. Here's somebody that came from another country and gave 29 or 20, how long? 29 years of their life to my dad, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your cousins, whoever, your family, our country, dedicated 29 years of their time to help. I mean, of course she got rewarded with that, but still, there's other jobs that she could have done that benefited her. But 29 years of her life was given to help Canadians. Guys, this is a big deal. Like this is huge. So and again, I'm not here to debate with anybody. I'm sure I'll catch some hate comments off of this, but again, just before you do that, just think for 1 minute what that person did. And yes, she got paid like every other nurse gets paid. Yes, she got a pension, I'm sure, like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. But still gave 29 years of her time. And I know this for a fact. 99.9% of her shifts, guess what, guys? They were all night shifts.
Night shifts.
This woman has been working nights for 29 years. Yep. 29 years. Can you imagine? Half of my viewers, so I looked on my viewers, my average viewers' ages are between 18 and 30. I bet you half of my viewers aren't even 29. So she's been working longer, providing services for our country and our province and our city than you guys have been alive. So it's just, again, not here to preach. Take note of that next time you see somebody and you say, this person, they come here from these countries, they get write-offs, think about that. Think about how many more of these people come here from other countries. And we have people in our church that have been there just as long. Yes.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
I mean, we're not going to mention all of them because there are a lot. Mm-hmm. But, so again, everybody has their own background and what they've been through. So, but let's not get carried away here. We'll go back to, so you worked at Alberta Health Services. Yeah. And then what about homes? So can we talk a little bit about you guys purchased a home, I know, and then you weren't happy with the home or something. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry, Uncle Lenny, if you're listening to this. Yeah.
Yes. So, however, so as I said, in the 80s, we owned a home then. When we went to work in Ontario, one of my sisters moved into my house.
So you guys rented it out,
to my sister.
Yeah, to pay the mortgage.
So we didn't have to lose it. So she stayed in, and we worked with. I got a job in Ontario in 1 week. First week I went, I got a job. So we decided that we would help her to pay the rest of the mortgage. So she paid the same amount she was paying for rent. So she stayed in our house for another 3 years while we worked in Ontario. And when we moved back to Calgary and were able to sell the house and buy another house. So of course, I said in the 80s, 90s, Calgary's weather was terrible. That was bad snowstorms and all that. And where we were living, we did not have a garage. And I wanted a garage because you couldn't stop people from parking in front of your house. So if you come in from work and there's no spot there for you to park, you have to park across the street and your car might not start because winter was horrible then.
Yeah.
However, I said to my husband, I want a house with a garage. So one day my friend and I decided to go look at houses while my husband was at work. and we found this house. Then you could trade your house for a different.
What? You could
Yes.
trade your house?
So we
Wow.
trade. So my husband came home and I said, okay, I saw a house. Can you go look at it? So we went, we look at it. And of course he did like it. So we went on with the trading. The down payment was the trading of the other house for this.
Oh, okay.
And we move in here, and of course, as time goes by, the market, the house price went hops, and it just mount up, and it went up. So years after that, we realized, yes, this was the right choice we made in moving from there. So this house we have with a double garage, and that's what I wanted. And of course, the house price went high, so. Yeah. Is that what you wanted to?
Yeah, so the house prices in Calgary, I mean, like I said, I'm 33, so I'm young.
My son.
But,
My son.
but so I've heard a lot of stories from house prices skyrocketing here in the city. However, I think they did take a bit of a backseat here with this pandemic going on, but from what I hear now, they are bouncing back a bit. But yes, for sure, a very successful move with what you guys have now and what you guys had back then. But what a remarkable story. You guys have had an amazing journey, and then you guys have had a couple children too that are now.
Yes, we've got 2 sons, and of course, they're doing during their time growing them up. We work. One work night, one work day. My husband worked days, so we could be there for them. And they didn't have to go to the daycare, the home. So we have devoted a lot of time with the boys and make sure they...
Wow, and of course I've met both of them. They're a nice young gentlemen, and they have families of their own now. Yeah. So let's hope that they will have that kind of success like their parents have. I always look up to Miss Blossom and her husband here, because I have been in some pretty bad places with my not my mental health, but my mood and the things that I've been through in life, and they've lifted me up, and it was Miss Blossom that introduced me to the church, and that invited me, and I went through with it, and to this day I'm still thank the good Lord that I'm a Christian. I do have a relationship with Him, and I pray daily, and I do read my Bible. So I do have a lot of other people that I follow on YouTube that are Christians, Facebook, etc. But for boots on the ground, one-on-one, it's been Miss Blossom and her husband that have really been there for me, and they've never turned me away from anything I've needed. So what about these videos? Is it something that you would ever think about doing with your retirement? Is maybe start making some videos?
That's something I have to think about, Josh.
Well, you know what, guys? Here's what I'm going to do for you. For anybody who loves her content, and if you do, I don't understand how cannot love this content. But if ever should come up of the videos, or if a YouTube channel should occur or something like that, the minute and the day that she calls me and says, hey, I have a YouTube channel, I will be posting a link in the description box below on this video. So hopefully by that time, this video will have gotten 600 million views by that.
Sorry, I thought about it, but my video would have to do with exercise, because I think at my age, I would like to encourage my age group to exercise.
And what a beautiful thing.
Workout, because at 65 years old.
And 65, and folks, doesn't she look absolutely beautiful for 65 years old? Like, she don't look no 65. And if one of you comments and says she looks 65, you're done. No, I'm just kidding. But no, for sure. And that's incredible. And you know what? I think that with a little bit of help from either me or your other sons, it can be done. Yes. I have done videos where I started my weight loss journey, and I've done, videos where I do healthy eating and all of that stuff. So, I mean, I think the fact that you want to promote healthy living is a huge plus. And the thing is, there's a lot of trainers out there. We're getting a little off topic here, as you
Yes.
guys know from me. I do ramble on, but there's a lot of trainers and there's a lot of people out there. And after a while, their videos all start becoming the same. So when somebody like Miss Blossom comes out and makes a video of workouts, it motivates people. So hey. So you know what? We're gonna end the subject here about the workouts, but now we're not gonna end the video yet. We still have more time if you have a look. But anyway, if something does occur, she's also a cook, guys. Whoa, you want to talk about like Jamaican cuisine? Like I've had her jerk chicken, her oxtail, or her steamed fish, dumplings. Miss Blossom used to be the owner of a restaurant, and if anybody wants to check it out, the name of it is Crazy Jerk with a K. I will post the description below in the box. So if you guys go check them out, tell them you got the link from this video, and you know they can respond to us and say, hey, you know, your channel has brought us business, right? Maybe we can hit them up for a free meal once in a while. Right?
Of course. Definitely.
So, but anyway, so maybe it's something this she'll do, cooking, spiritual. She's a Christian. She's a saved Christian. So maybe, you know, never know. Anyhow, bottom line, at the end of the day, as some would say, if anything occurs, I will be posting links of her channel below this video. So go ahead and have a look at it. So another thing that I want to talk to you about is, and again, I don't always want to bring up racism, but is it something you want to bring up and bring the attention to, that you have been racially profiled? Unfortunately, if you have in this country, has it happened to you?
Years ago, many years ago, I remember we had an accident. My husband and I were driving, and we had an accident where our car crashed, and people passed. I was pregnant. I was big pregnant.
Oh, man.
And we came out of the car, and people just went by, look, and never stopped to help us. And I know that was because of racism.
Yeah. That's unfortunately. I know I talked to your husband there. He has told me a few stories when he used to go to the bank and ask for, you know, bigger amounts of cash that he needed for whatever. And before they would even take his card, they would ask him if he had that money or if it was his money or all of that stuff. And we all know, guys, one of the safest drivers, like I'm talking 9 and 3, seatbelt on, GPS set. I mean, I'm talking zero law breaking, this guy. The most cautious person, the salt of the earth, you know, and hard working is not even, you know, doesn't even define who this guy is. So for him to catch that kind of racist comments back then, I know it really hurt him, and there's times where, you know, I'm sure he was pretty upset because of how he is to receive these kind of racial comments. I know at our church, you know, her and her husband, they are looked up on as elders, and you know, people look to them for advice and guidance because, you know, of what they've been through. Apart from all the different color and race, it doesn't matter. People still come to them for everything, which, I mean, of course, why wouldn't they? So to go from that to being racially profiled, it's not nice, guys. Like, let's try all to put this all behind us. And you know what? I have people that say, I've had a viewer make a comment, actually private message me, and this is what this viewer said. I'm not going to mention his names because he's a nice guy. From what I've heard. And this is what he said to me. He said, you know what? I don't promote racism, but I don't understand one thing about different nationalities. Why are they the ones promoting it? Why are they the ones always bringing up racism? Why we don't want to talk about it? We don't want to bring it up. They're the ones bringing it up. They're the ones rioting. And I said, okay, you know what? This is something that I could talk to you about. about this question. I have my own way to how I answered this question to this person, but what is your answer to that question?
Well, he asked why. Because he's not the one that feels it. Last year, I went into Costco and I was on my way out. I shopped and I was on my way out. And this young man, he just started cussing me out for no reason. He looked over and there was another girl, another Indian girl, and he started on her too for absolutely no reason. What does that tell you?
And we're not going to say what race he was, but I'm pretty sure our viewers can understand.
Why? She didn't do anything to him, neither did I.
I know you didn't. Can vouch for that.
So, there you go.
Yeah, so my reply to this gentleman was, again, he was not doing this in a bad way or in an offensive way. He was just asking a simple question, and I said, "Hey, listen, this is something that is, when people have been done bad, so bad, and you know what? I actually have asked the same question. So one of my best friends works for law enforcement. You know that, and me and him have had this same conversation. However, he prefers not to talk about it on camera, but he has put, and he has a lot of partners that are from the African American community, or Canadian, I should say, and they have put the perspective on why these things are occurring. And if you look at all the statistics of say African Americans compared to whites, as far as in business, in leadership, in all of this and that, and again, please don't write your hate comments, because I know I'm going to be catching for this. I might even lose subscribers, but I don't care, because it's the truth and I'm willing to speak it. The statistics show that how the African Americans have been the underdogs. I mean, again, I watched an interview with Morgan Freeman. So Morgan, if you're watching this, give me a shout out. Reach out to us. But somebody asked Morgan Freeman if the black people have a lesser opportunity right now, and he didn't even think about it. He said, "No, look at me." And I agree with him. They do not have a lesser opportunity at this point. They do not. But however, how they were treated in the past and how they were done in the past is not a very good circumstances. So these people were put under, they were pressed out. So again, guys, this is something that has been happening for generations. So let's all bring it to a stop. Racism is not a good thing, So we are all working on this together, and we're all going to bring this to a stop. So that was my answer to the gentleman that posted a question, a private message me on my YouTube channel. So anything else you would like to add to this? And then we're going to stop the comments about the racism. We're going to end it with that. Is there anything else you would like to add with that?
With the racism?
With the racism?
Yes, I should just mention this because this morning I went to the Dollarama, and there's a young lady that was coming down one aisle and she was looking for something, and I saw it. And I meant to say it's up the other aisle, but I thought I might say that, and she just, ignore me.
So you were shy because of...
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
See, that's
but
not
she
good.
came around again, and I said, "Oh, you said you're looking for..." And she said yes, with a nice big smile on her face. So of course I said, "It's just down there." And she said, "Oh, thank you." And, but sometimes you are shy, or you're scared to...
Yes, to reach out to somebody that's a different race, because...
to be told offer.
Like the guy in Costco that we just talked about.
Right.
Okay. No, and that's it. So anyway, but so I think that basically rounds up Miss Blossom's story here. Thank you so much for coming on and
You're welcome.
and letting us interview you. It's been a very interesting road, and a very interesting friendship that I've made with you and your husband here in the past 7 years, and look forward to doing it forever and ever, I guess. So anyway, guys, we're gonna take a brief break here, and Miss Blossom is gonna go on with her day, and I'll continue this video where my goal is to shoot 1 hour here for you guys. It'll be my first 1 hour video here. So the last part of this video is gonna be about, you know, daily events here. So we're gonna take a break here, guys, and I'll see you by myself in a bit. So thanks again for watching, and anything else you would like to say to our fans here? Nothing at all.
Well, stay tuned for my video.
Oh, look at that, guys. So look at that. It's coming. But anyhow, thanks again, Miss Blossom, for your time, and I appreciate you. And maybe one day we'll be back with a different topic here. I got some ideas for the future, but we didn't mention that to her yet. We're gonna let this soak in first. We'll see what the comments are and the reviews on this videos. I'm expecting it to go viral, and I'm expecting it to bring back a lot of comments. Anyway, thanks, guys, and we'll see you guys shortly. Hey guys, so I'm back at home here. What a great success that interview was today with Miss Blossom. I know that I touched on a lot of racial stuff. I hope I didn't offend anybody, or I hope that we didn't upset anybody, and if I did, I really do apologize in advance, because that was not our goal. Our goal was, with this video, to bring her story and show people how anybody can go to any country and be successful. Although, mind you, I know some countries it would probably be harder than others. We all know that. But anyway, with that being said, guys, again, if I offended anybody or upset anybody, I do apologize. It's not what we intended to do. The other thing that we intended to do, that we did reach out to people, was racism awareness. It's not cool, no matter where you go. All people should be treated equally, and doesn't seem like it is that way sometimes. However, you know, we can all work on this together. You know, our new generation, we can eliminate this. You know, we can get rid of that old mentality of racism. But anyway, that's enough about that, guys. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, I had one of my viewers. It's really hard to make a 1 hour video of the same topic. I mean, it's not if you have an interviewer and, you know, you do your homework. However, this is all the time that I got from her. So she was busy with you know, church, and I think they had a fatality in their family too, so it was really nice to take the time out of her day to come and chat with us. But so one of my subscribers in the comments said to me, he said, can you do a video about relationships? Relationships, right? So and this is gonna be one video, so I know it's gonna be weird to talk about, you know, have an interview and have a relationship video in one. But anyway, so relationships. I have been in different relationships. I've been in relationships with different races, and I've been with four different races. So, wow, some of them, I mean, again, I'm not racist, I'm not, you know, I don't judge, but some of them, there's definitely the culture difference. There's definitely, and you have to be respectful and mindful of that. And so I have found, and you can't place it on race, because every race has a person that's like this or like that. So you can't say, oh, this race does this and this race does that, unless you're talking about a traditional thing. But if you're talking about personal habits, you can't say, oh, well, African Americans, they are like that, Chinese people are like this, Filipino girls are like that. No, I mean, there are, like I said, there are a few traditional things that, you know, all of some races have, but keep in mind that's not personal habits. But so what I have found was communication. Oh. You'll say, like for example, the what's supposed to be the least complicated thing about, hey, are we going to the coffee shop or are we going to bring our coffee back home? And you hear, yes. What is it? What do you mean? Oh, I thought you meant this. So that's just one example, a silly example. But so communication is a huge thing. So what I have found, the relationship I'm in right now, my girlfriend always tells me that I am very good at explaining and being specific on certain things I want to touch on. And the reason why I am like that is because I think I've had more relationships with different races than I have with my own. And again, it's not that I'm not attracted to my own race, but I am definitely different. So my girlfriend tells me now that, yeah, I am very good and very clear at explaining certain things. Like I break things down, itemize things because of in the past, you know, I have had a communication issue. So another thing I want to talk about is for guys and girls is, in my opinion, is the word love. The word love just gets thrown around like it's just like it's, you know, for free. Here you go, love, free love. Anybody who wants it, just take it. You know, I grew up very traditionally. You know, you then when you date somebody, or you call it courting, whichever. You know, you took your time with that person. You didn't, you know, growing up in a Hadarite community, it's not, you know, it's not like, it's a little bit different dating a girl. So a red flag for me is if I go out with a girl twice and then she says I love you. I mean, and here's the thing, you can't be judgmental and say that they don't love you, because people are not refrigerators. You can't open them up and look inside. Because remember, when you say I love you to somebody and that person says I love you to you, your I love you and their I love you excuse me, could mean two different things. So you always have to be mindful of that. You know, you can't be saying, well, no, she doesn't love me, or he doesn't love me, whichever, because he does this and he does that. You know what I mean? So maybe that person's I love you is a totally different perspective on your love. So and so it's very important to work out that balance, for me anyway. Another thing is, and I've seen with different cultures clashing when it comes to dating, is the disrespect. I've met people, like I've gone to just 2 weeks ago, I went to this Filipino restaurant and I seen this Filipina come in and her husband or boyfriend, partner, because no, they were partners because they were holding hands, and you know, that's signs of partners. And you know, I'm sitting across the aisle from them at a different table, and I'm ordering, you know, more authentic Filipino dishes, and the guy's looking at me and he's like, how do you eat that crap? How do you eat that? And I'm just going, buddy, like, and you can tell his girlfriend is so embarrassed. And then finally she's like, oh, I'm so proud that you're eating that, you know. He never tries it, and the whole time he's belittling their food, you know, the culture. Not the culture so much, about the food. Don't be disrespectful like that, guys. Like, think of that your partner, they grew up in that. That's what they're used to. That's their comfort food. So be mindful of that. You know, don't be disrespectful of. You might not think it's disrespectful. You might think it's funny, but deep down, it hurts them. You know, it bugs them because, you know, they want you to be a part of them. And so, anyway, whatever. I just told him, look, man, the food's absolutely delicious. You got to try it. Like, you can't be so, you know, level-headed, and you can't be so square L7 to not try different foods. And I mean, of course, I've tried so many different foods from so many different countries, and I have yet to find any food. The only food that I'm careful of, and I'm not saying it's not good, is African food because it's so spicy. And I love spice. I eat a lot of hot food, but some of their food and the food itself, the taste you get before the heat kicks you, is actually pretty good. And there is a lot of African food that's not so spicy, and the food is absolutely, or the flavor is absolutely amazing. But some of their foods, whoa, she kicks. But anyway, nevertheless, and here's another rule that I have, and keep in mind, these are my opinions, my experiences. This is not, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I have a rule because when it comes to dating, I know a lot of people say age, you know, if your age is only a number. All right, I've been through this. I've dated a partner and that has been 19 years older than me. Definitely didn't look no 19 years older than me. Looked the same age. But, and at the start, it was fun. It was great. It was awesome. And I'm still friends with that person today. However, I noticed when we were dating that there's certain things that I want to do that I have not experienced. And I don't mean having children, or I mean day-to-day fun stuff, you know, that a 33-year-old guy might want to do. And I'm not talking about going out to the bars, and so I'm talking about, you know, going on adventures, doing this, doing that, you know, and where I could tell she wasn't into it because she's experienced this, she's went and done this, and, you know, she's over it. So, and it wasn't very often, but I noticed, you know, as time went on, and she would try, she would put in her effort to please me, but you could tell. So that's why I would never ever date somebody that's that much older than me. And it's not that that person isn't beautiful, that person isn't good, none of that. It's because some people, you know, when you're that age, as you grow up, you experience certain things, right? It's the way of life. And if that person has experienced certain things and they dislike these certain things, then it robs you of having that experience. Does that make sense? Anyway, so and I know in a lot of cultures like Asia, to be, you know, it's a huge thing, especially, well, I shouldn't pinpoint, let's say Asia. You know, I've gone there and have seen 20-year-olds with 70-year-old guys. And again, I am not here to say that that's wrong or that that is right. I'm not disputing that. In my opinion, I would definitely not do that because, again, of what I just said. So, yeah, for the age thing, like I said, a lot of people say age is just a number. If you love somebody, you love somebody. All right, no, and that's fine if that's your opinion, and if you can have that type of a relationship. And I'm sure that not all partners, male or female, are like that. There's some partners that will go through those things with their partner, again, even if they're younger or older. So, but for me, I don't have time to waste. You know, I've been through that, and I would never do it again. Another rule, that's a very very strict rule, and I don't share this with my partner. This is something for me, 100%. So, and I actually I spoke to a couple people about this last week. I went to a fire. We had a campfire. I mean, it was in the backyard, but we sat around and talked about relationships. And because I've been having this build up in my head that I want to do a video on relationships. And anyway, so if I meet that person and that person has something about them that they do or how they act and I don't like it, I will not continue. And I'll tell you why. This may sound very cocky, rude, and whatever you want to call it. But here's why. If somebody has a habit on them, if somebody does certain things and you dislike it, when you first meet that person, you say, oh, you know what? I think that I can actually get used to that. Or you know what? He or she will better themselves. They'll stop doing this. I think I can change my expectations. I think so. I think I can live with that. I've heard that so many times. You know what? I think I can live with that. And then a year later, they're like, you know what? I thought I could handle it. I thought I could do it, but I can't. And that's what happens every time. So if you can't accept that person for who they are, don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. Don't expect people to change. If there's certain things like, for my weight, okay? With my ex, she knew I was a big guy. She met me, she seen me. And she was constantly on me, and I'm very thankful to this day that she was, because when I met her, I shed a bunch of weight, and then when our separation happened, I kind of let go a bit again, but now I'm back on track. So that's a good thing, because she cares for me enough to want me to be healthy. But if somebody, say for example, smokes or likes to drink, more than average, or they have a gambling habit, or they have an addiction as in like hobby or shopping or whatever it may be. Maybe they're messy. Maybe they're OCD and you can't handle it, or whatever it is. If you can't accept that person, if you want to go out a few times and see if that, what it's like, but don't go out with that person and then, say, hey, you got to change this and you got to change that. And that person's like, well, no, I'm not doing that. And then all of a sudden you keep pushing it. You're like, well, maybe it'll improve. Maybe he or she will see my point. And that person's never going to see their point, because that's how they are. That's how they're going to stay. And in a year, maybe 2 years, I've seen 11 years. I've heard of somebody just coming out of an 11-year relationship. Because, the guy just didn't want more for himself. And this young lady was so motivated. She was so motivated all the time. She worked for huge corporations. She did so well. And she always had to drag him like an anchor. I mean, again, I'm not going to mention names here or whatever, but so, and 11 years later, and now they're separated. So again, my opinion and a rule, number one, if there is something about, there's little knick-knack stuff, I don't care. Like, if, stupid things that I don't even pay attention to. But if it's something that's big enough that it's going to bug me and I'm going to be unhappy because this person has this habit, guess what? I'm out. I can't, I'm not expecting that person to change. That person cannot expect me to lower my expectations or raise my expectations, whichever it may be. And I can't expect that, wow, what a tongue twister. I can't expect that person to change for me, because who am I, right? Who am I to say, hey, you should change or whatever? So, nevertheless, that being said, that's the biggest rule I have for dating. And again, sometimes it just doesn't work out, right? Sometimes people, and here's another thing. Oh, now my brain just came up with a whole new thing. But here's another thing to look at. When you take these relationships, and this is all for the people that say age doesn't matter. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong. This is for you to think about. Not advice, just think about. When people are 20 years old, what do we know at 20 years old? I mean, sometimes we know it all, right? And then you meet a person and you start dating that person, and that person's there for you. Maybe that person's there for you, that 70-year-old is there for you financially, supports you. And it could be not that way. I don't know. I'm not here to say it is. But maybe that person has been there for you, supported you. But as you grow older, you realize, hey, I don't have kids. Unless 70-year-old is physically fit and, can he give you children? And not just physically fit, there's a lot of other things that go into play here. But can he give you children? Can he be there to help you raise those children? So maybe one day when you're 25, 30 years old, you wake up one day and you look at that person in bed and you're like, man, I don't know, like he's a good guy, I like him, but, I kind of want to have a life. I want to have kids. I want to have, there you go. Now you're back to the drawing board. And I've heard of situations. I've never personally been involved with people like that. I've just heard this through, friends. So hearsay. I've heard people say, well, I didn't break up with that person because, when I was in school, he paid for my student loans, he helped my family, he did this, he did that, so I felt guilty and I felt obligated to stay with him. And of course, we're human beings. That's how we're going to think, guys. But now what? Now you're 30 years old. You know how much fun it is to date at 30 years old? 35 years old, especially when you've had a relationship for that long. Now you got to go back to the dating scene. It's not fun. It's not. It really is not. I would have been happy with if I meet somebody and I can stay with that person forever. That's what I'm looking for. But I mean, if that's what you're into, I have one YouTuber I watch. I can't remember what he calls those guys. Beater boys. I really like that comment. He's like, all the beater boys. Really good guy, good YouTuber. I watch him all the time. I follow him. I watch pretty much every video he makes. But beater boys. Anyhow, if you're a beater boy, maybe that's what you're into, and that's fine. Nobody's here to tell you any different or judge you for doing what you do. But for me, I can BS, but when push comes to shove, at the end of the day, we all want somebody to go home to. We want somebody we can trust, somebody that we love, maybe have a kid or two. And you know what? Some people are in, young couples that are in a healthy relationship and they're married. They don't want to have kids. Okay, that's fine. But I don't care how you slice it. You still want to come home to somebody. You still want to have a companion that you can trust. There's times when you're down and you're out of it. That person can pick up the slack. That person can be there for you. We all have family. And for me, for example, I have a very close family. I'm very close with my family. I am not afraid, especially my brother. I'm super close with my brother, and there's nothing I could not go to that man with. But, there's certain things and there's certain times where you would want to go to somebody that's your spouse, your lover, your person, your soulmate, There's certain things that, you want to share with them. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not saying that that's the right thing, but that's what I'm looking for. So those are a few of my rules that I have when I date. I'm hoping that I don't have to go back to that dating scene. Actually, I know I'll never have to. But anyway, guys, that's it. I think I'm gonna wrap this one up. I tried to do a good job here with this video. I hope I did. I did a bit of homework with, Miss Blossom was very nervous. It's funny because at church she always speaks on the mic and she's always encouraging people, but this was very new to her. So again, please give her shout outs. Don't give them to me. I don't care. Don't give me shout outs. I don't need them. But for her, she does deserve it, because it took a lot of courage to did what she did today, to come on here and put some of her information out here. She's not even a YouTuber yet. I think she's definitely thinking about it though. So huge shout out to Miss Blossom there for coming on here and talking about. And what an interesting story, guys. Like, what an interesting story. I've heard these stories so many times. Sometimes we'll sit, and we'll sit till 10:30 at night. I'll stop in on my way through town or something, and before you know it, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they'll talk about, how their struggle was when they first came here. And it's never really about the racism part. We just did that for the awareness. It's more or less, good laughs and good stories of Calgary and how they, when they first got here, how things were. So anyway, again, my hat goes off to them and their family and their boys there, a bunch of good fellas, down to earth young men. So but anyway, guys, that's it. I think we're done here now. So shout out to her and the relationship part of the video. I covered it. Maybe I could have done a bit of better prep for it, but I basically come to you right from the heart. I don't typically write nothing down. I guess what you can call wing it, if you can call it that. But I basically just come at you and give it to you how it is. I mean, I try not to sugarcoat things, although I try to be a little bit more, open-minded when it comes to doing certain videos. But it's definitely not easy. Like I said, if people say, oh, well, that's so easy, I've heard people say that. How can you screw that up? You had one job, sit down in front of a camera and do a video. Yeah, that's right. But those are the people that never do a video. And then if you do a video, all the YouTubers that I follow, other than when they're doing live streams, they're doing 25, 30-minute video. I've seen 40-minute videos. I'm not going to say they don't exist. But when you're doing an hour video, especially this is my first 1 hour video, it's not as easy as it seems. But anyway, I'm going to stop here now. I've been just rambling on. So anyhow, guys, again, thank you so much to our new subscribers. Oh my gosh, I am so grateful and so thankful for you guys. Like, I can't believe our numbers. It's just incredible. Like, wow, how is that possible that we can gain that many subscribers? But anyway, leave your comments, likes or dislikes, whichever. Subscribe, I would appreciate that. Maybe turn on that notification bell or not, it's up to you. But anyhow, guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys all had a good Easter. And you know what, guys, be kind to one another. It's not hard.